What do you believe are the biggest challenges facing the education system today, and how can we address them to better prepare future generations? The money-making industry of textbooks leads to unwarranted progress in educational methods which are not improvements or progress at all. It's simply changing stuff to be able to sell new textbook ad vitam aeternam. Parents are the easy answer, but schools need honest grading and should be able to fail or hold a kid back. Too many schools just pass kids through the grades without holding an actual standard of learning. That non-educators and people who didn't go to any sort of schooling to teach and be an educator, having control over how the educator does their job. People that have no idea what a lesson plan is saying that you are doing it wrong. Also, no accountability for the parents. If the kids misbehave and have no discipline or respect at home, what do you think they will be like with no parent and their friends around? In the US there are a few, and it's hard to pick out just one. But structurally, I think it's clear at this point that localized funding of schools was a mistake. Most jurisdictions fund their schools with local property taxes, which simply perpetuates inequality. I have some thoughts on it as a dad of a 9 going on 10-year-old. It's easy to blame teachers, but many are only doing what they are asked to do. I'd say 90% of it is a mix of careless parents and careless administration. Most of the education I'm seeing my son get is just preparation for passing standardized tests, so the administration can go back to get more for the system. I think parents are also not taking enough of a hand in their child's education either. Granted, most people are just working to survive, so it's a matter of time and energy a lot of people can't expend. I also think it's a very large, complex problem. There's no quick or easy fix. Every kid learns differently, they all have different skills and interests, just like every adult. But kids are naturally curious, so I think if schools would try and foster kids' natural curiosity, teach them how to learn rather than what to learn, especially early on, it would be significantly better. My son is in 7th grade and had told me his class was in the middle of reading Holes. I read that book in school when I was around his age. Eventually he explained they don't individually read the book, they just listening to the audiobook in class. Clearly not enough funding to provide 30 kids in a class with a book. The school has tablets and iPads that are shared throughout the school, and they couldn't get these kids reading an ebook? Provide more funding so kids can read. No more school boards controlled content. Fail students that fail. There is a sense that school isn't valuable as events are indicating that jobs won't be available, immigration, AI, and that the world is falling apart, war, famine, disease, climate. Then there is social media where everyone gets to be the cool kid and performatively not follow rules, act out, and not care about their grades. Miserably low pay for teachers and book banners. Phone media addiction. Kids have no attention span and can't focus, and it keeps getting worse. Adults don't fare much better off. Funding. Checked has basically made homework impossible. No way to know if the kid is actually doing it or cheating. Teachers are currently struggling big time with how to handle this. Common belief that education is supposed to be fun. It's not. It's supposed to be challenging. Glance understanding is not enough. Practice and memorization are necessary. Kids who don't want to learn and grow with teachers who aren't paid enough to find it in themselves to inspire those kids to learn. The biggest challenges are mostly social challenges. You either have parents who are so busy working to feed their families, or parents who believe their children are the most specialist beings to ever walk the earth. Combined with school administrations that have basically given up on discipline, and you have an epidemic of behavior issues. That and the insane obsession with high-stakes testing have created chaotic conditions in schools. You also have the problem in that one major political party wants to destroy public education so that they can divert more to private schools and business cronies. One thing that could be implemented without costing money would be a change in attitude that refocuses on the purpose of the schooly education. Schools don't have to be draconian with harsh punishments, but students need to be held accountable with immediate and meaningful consequences for inappropriate behavior. Right now, my wifey, an elementary school teacher, has stopped sending kids to the office for egregious misbehavior because nothing happens and the kids treat it like a joke. Some parents thinking they know better than experts formulating the curriculum. For some weird reason, since the establishment of social media, there is this mistrust on experts, and everyone, even if they are unqualified, are dipping their fingers in what should be taught or not. I don't have any solutions for this. It's just bothering that some parents with very limited education get to dictate what is necessary or not. When the AI agent becomes as good as a human teacher, they are already more patient. Instant gratification is taking over. Wouldn't know how to tend to that. Uninvolved parents and teachers administrators. Parents that don't read to their kids and don't get involved and reinforce their education. Parents that don't raise curious and respectful kids. On the teacher side, am married to a teacher who became a teacher coach towards the end of her career, and over the years she has told me so many stories about teachers that do not take the time to create good lesson plans. They walk in and out the door with the kids and bring nothing home. Just sit at their desk to teach and don't engage the kids. Then there are the principals and administrators that don't step foot into the classroom, are not engaged with the students or teachers, don't provide training, don't enforce student discipline, and don't create a collaborative and supportive school environment. There are lots of good teachers and administrators, but it seems like there is a downward trend in quality instruction. Part of that probably has to do with the disengaged parents, which makes teachers and administrators have to spend much more time being babysitters and disciplinarians than being able to do their job today teaching kids. Higher education should remove the profit-driven aspect of it via student loans. Wall Street should not be profiting on the backs of the proletariat seeking education to fill the jobs that modern society requires. It is in our best interest to have doctors, engineers, scientists, etc. The individual should not have to pay. Without higher education, our modern society cannot function, and we need to recognize that having people to fill these roles is the payback society gets for funding their education. 18-year-old children should not be being targeted for predatory loans.